PTF back with you on the In the Money Media YouTube channel. We're taking our first look, an in-depth look at the Fountain of Youth Stakes Key Kentucky Derby prep action. And the good news for you is I'm not alone. We've got Mikee P in the house. He's been killing it on these videos. Good to have you here with us today, Mikee. Let's just dive into this field horse by horse, starting with number 1, Gate to Wire for Todd Pletcher. Certainly no stranger to the Triple Crown Trail. Popped a 93 Beyer speed figure in the swale. That was going 7 furlongs. This Munnings colt going long today. How do you think Gate to Wire is going to fare?
It's an interesting horse here. Got the dirt last time and got a little bit of a setup there in the Swale Stakes, but raced very well. He was close to a quick pace, overwhelmed the horses on the turn and won going away. So I think this horse deserves to get this chance to jump on the Triple Crown Trail here. You get 2 turns here, resume back to the dirt. This horse has raced well without Lasix. The breeding says sprint, but I do think in the right hands, and you got Dylan Davis back. He's an interesting long shot, I think.
Number 2 is Sovereignty. When I did my Derby top 10 list back late last year, this was the horse on top of that list. He has some terrific credentials, including an open length win in the Street Sense. We always talk on the shows, get out your bingo card here, about Bill Mott with a target. Well, this is Bill Mott on his way to a target. Does that maybe make him vulnerable today?
I do think if he's going to be vulnerable, this would be the race that he will be. He only has 5 works since coming back. Now, the progression and the grow up could come from 2 to 3. This horse is a very exciting prospect, especially for Godolphin. If you watch that Street Sense, he couldn't have won any easier. I do think that this horse is very solid and a horse that I like going into the Derby. But this would be the race. He already has 10 Derby points. He's going to get in. I think that this might be the time to play against.
Let's talk about number 3, Burnham Square. This one, kind of the now horse, you could argue, after the local prep for this second race in this 4-race series for 3-year-olds. The Holy Bull won that one pretty well. Got a 90 Beyer there. He's on a nice line of progression. Would have to improve again to win a race like this, but Ian Wilkes runners often do just keep on improving. What's the ceiling for Burnham Square?
Well, the fact that he's in the race is interesting. I mean, these are patient connections. They don't exactly put their horses in every few weeks here. So the fact that he's here says he's healthy, he's progressing. I do think that he's doing very well on the road to this Derby. So I like that he's in here, and I think that he has a huge chance in this race.
McKellen is up next, looked outclassed in the Mucho Macho Man first race in this series. Any chance he could class up this time around?
He's really not my type. He would have to improve here. Even if you pitch the Mucho Macho Man, just looks very slow. Now, you do have Gaffalione. You have connections that are sharp in here. So not without a long shot chance, but it's just not for me.
Solid left, took advantage of a fast pace, closing well to win the maiden last time. But the Beyer speed figure came back just 72. And this is a heck of a spot for first time against winners. Am I underrating him?
Not at all. He's probably the longest shot in the board. He did lose to Tappan Street, a horse that I do like first time out. Was able to break the maiden, but needed Lasix to do it. No Lasix here. I'm not interested.
Fans of the Beyer speed figures like myself take note of a runner like River Thames. 290 figures to start the career. 2 open length wins. Sky looks the limit for this son of McLean's music. Going to have to do it against better this time around. Going to take a ton of money. Where do you stand with this, the other Todd Pletcher runner?
He needs to prove it for me. I did think that he did race well on February 1st. If you watch that race, he had a horse laying on him the entire way around the racetrack. He did quicken up around the turn and kick away to win, but both Lasix in both of his starts. He has pretty big figures. Now it's to stretch out, no Lasix. And, you know, this horse has McLean's music on the top end. Now, that is a sharp sire, but it's very sprint heavy to me. So I do think that this horse would be a play against. I am curious, though, to see how he races here.
Neo Equos next up on the list. Safi Joseph, so much success in South Florida. Here he is with this Florida bred who did pop a 91 Beyer speed figure. 2 back, beat state breds rather effortlessly in the slop, sprinting last time. This is a big ask, but this is a barn that lands some blows from time to time. Do you have him on your short list?
Well, this is just another, I think, set of connections taking a shot. Had the chase rated by Mauberret as a 2-year-old. That one was, racing faster than almost any other 2-year-old has in the history of those Florida races. So this horse is sharp enough. It has to stretch out. Looks more a sprinter to me.
Let's talk about the last runner in the field. Dale Romans calls the shots for Keep It Easy, a name I really like. Son of Hard Spun, last seen winning the Ed Brown under the Twin Spires. That was sprinting, going long today. Pedigree says that could work out. What do you think?
I do like this horse. I think that he's under the radar. If you look at his races, nice maiden breaking win at Churchill back in June. Showed up in the Saratoga Special. Well, look at that. Stumbled badly at the start. Get rid of that race. That is a total non-effort there. If that race goes away off the PPs, he looks much better. If you look at that Stars of Tomorrow, Ed Brown stake, he won that very nicely. Now, he did get a perfect trip in there, and Tough Catch, who was favored in there, did not. However, this horse, I think, should stretch out very well. The pedigree says so. The Dale Romans barn is very sharp. So he's an under-the-radar type that really could put himself on the Derby picture this weekend.
Let's give a word to our sponsor of this video before we come back with our final thoughts. Want to thank our friends at ExpressBet and ExpressBet Tournaments, specifically. Big one happening on Saturday, the Ultimate Betting Challenge. You can play at Santa Anita. You can play at Gulfstream Park. You can play online via ExpressBet. And if you're watching this earlier in the week, you can win your way in still. If you go to expressbet.com/tournaments, you'll learn much more about the Ultimate Betting Challenge. Huge prizes on the line, including Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge seats. All right, time for the rubber to meet the road here and our selections. I am going to stick with Sovereignty. I get it. This is a time you could oppose him, but I think he might catch a field that's going to play to his closing running style. He's a little light on figures, but you got to remember, he's now had time to improve between 2 and 3. And the big race for me was more of the way he did it thing, how impressively he looked, as opposed to one who was breaking the clock on that particular day. Be very interesting to see how they bet in here, but I'm going to keep Sovereignty as my top pick in this year's Fountain of Youth. Where do you land? I think I know where you're going to go based on your comments, but let's make it official.
Well, I'm going to try to keep it easy here. I do think that he has plenty of upside. If you take the Saratoga Special out of his past performances, he looks as good as anything in this race. And his pedigree to go long, I think, is something that is very interesting here. He's a stakes winner. He's in the right hands. He gets the perfect post here, and I think he can win from off the pace. He could get the jump on Sovereignty in this race. So I do think that one would be my top pick.
I do love your point about the Saratoga Special. At a glance, you could say, oh, he ran against grade 2 and he didn't class up. Not so. Look how hard he was bet, and then he didn't break. So I think you can put a line through that one, as we horse players sometimes like to say. Don't put a line through the In the Money Media YouTube channel, though. We have a faucet of content coming for you this week. I don't have it all official yet, so I don't want to tease and be wrong, but it's not stuff you're going to want to miss all throughout the week leading up to this first Saturday, March 1st, Fountain of Youth Day, big cap out at Santa Anita. We're going to have you covered left, right, and center. Probably have another Fountain of Youth video later in the week, especially if there's any breaking news. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our YouTube exclusive content. Click that notification bell as well. PTF and Mikee P for In the Money Media.